Hello, hello, hello. I know it's been a while since I've had my last video, but we have been so busy homeschooling, trying to find that perfect niche, trying to get our schedule, right on track the way that I would like it for it to be and for it to work for everyone. It's been pretty hectic around here, but in a good way. I mean, everybody's happy. We have a lot of good days. We have challenges, but I have learned how to deal with them. And that's the great thing about homeschooling. You learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about your children. You learn so many positive ways to handle all of those bad moments. I shouldn't say bad. Those challenging moments that are bound to come up no matter what. So let's just get into what's been going on at the Faith and Grace Country School. That's the name of our homeschool, by the way. Anyway, so one of the biggest challenges that we have had has been our start time. So I have gotten so strict about 8:30 bedtime, and it has really worked out for us. They're waking up around 7 o'clock, 7:15, sometimes 6:30, which is good. I'm already up anyway, so I get my routine done pretty quickly. Breakfast on the table, and I set some goals, wrote them out in my planner, and that was one of my goals, that they need to go to bed 8:30 in bed, in the covers, like lights out, night 8:30, and to homeschool at 9:30. They should be on the carpet at 9:30. And I know some people feel that takes the beauty out of homeschool, having such a strict schedule, but for us it just works out better that way, because like I told my children, I'm like, I know there's stuff you guys want to do other than homeschooling all day. Their friends that go to public school, they're out by 2:20, home by 2:30, 2:40. They have a snack, and guess what, they're out on that playground 4:30. Now it's fall. The sun goes down around 5:15, 5:30, so there's not much time to be on the playground with your friends. And then, like, as an incentive, after we have school, they get their iPad time. So it's like, okay, and then you have to eat lunch. So the only way we can get everything done that you guys want to do is to have school earlier. So now we have school around 9:30, and we're done around 1:30. And that's all that they need. We're on block scheduling, so that's more than enough time for us to get 4 subjects a day. There are a couple things, like Elijah, the second grader, he has spelling every day. Every morning, that's the morning routine, is probably the most timely, or it takes up the most of our time, where we sit down in the morning, we talk about the calendar, the weather, we read our Bible verse, and then I read a story, and then Elijah reads a story. And that is really helping the younger two with their reading, like you would not believe. It's just so good. And it's so cute, because like if Kelsey's sitting in my lap that day for read aloud, she's like, point to the words, mama, point to the words. So she's really going to start reading really quickly, really soon. Elijah, he kind of struggled with reading a little bit last year, but since he's been home with me, his skills are just off the charts. We kind of need a little help with spelling. The words are pretty big, in my opinion, for second grade, but we don't move on until he's mastered it. So no contest, no race. We're not comparing his spelling skills to another kid's spelling skills. That's whatever your child's doing is A-okay with me. But as far as this household, we're doing what we do. So moving on, the schedule is going great. I love our morning routine. So after we do our little carpet time and read aloud time, and I've also found that it's best that we do our read alouds first thing, because I don't know why Elijah gets so sleepy and tired as soon as it's time to read. And it just, like today, he kind of had a bad morning. He was reading perfectly, but midway through the story, he just skipping lines and all that. So I kind of got to get to the root of how he just mentally checked out and figure out what's going on, so that he can have more successful reading times. And at the same time, it could be one of those things like, hey, the more you do it, the better he'll get at it. Like, he won't get so tired so quickly, I guess. But yeah, we've had to deal with some ups and downs. You know, we have our complaining moments, but for the most part, my kids are killing it. I could not ask for anything more. And I must say, I really attribute that to them having a lot of autonomy for their education and what they want to do. I mean, they've convinced me to give them 20 minutes of a video game center. Like, I still think it's not the best thing, but I mean, it's working. It's keeping them happy. They get 20 minutes on their break where they can have their iPad, and I'm allowing it with a smile on my face because guess what? When that 20 minutes is up, they know to put it away because as soon as there's drama, there is no more video game center. You know, just point blank and a period. So we've added that into our routine, and you know, we still do our handwriting with our gospel music. You know, we tried Earth, Wind, and Fire one time, and the kids would just, it's like, no, let's put our tri-tribute back on so everybody can, you know, we can have the Holy Ghost in here. Get that handwriting together. So that's still going good. Our group math lessons, you know, so we have 2 kinders, but they're on 2 different levels. Jerry is much further along in his math because he started kindergarten last year. He had a very, very long break in kindergarten to focus on his letter formations, letter sounds, and just learning his alphabet because it took him some time. So I just stopped with all of his kindergarten curriculum until we got that mastered. So he's continuing his kindergarten journey, which is fine. Like I said, we don't compare and, you know, oh yeah, my daughter was 3 when she did that. Okay, that's fine. And you know what? Good. We love it. But as for Jerry, he's still doing his kinder. He's heading to part 2 of his math. We're using Horizon. Kelsey's in the beginning part of her math, and Elijah's 2nd grade math. So I just sit down like the night before. I plan everything out what they're supposed to learn. I look through my teacher guide. I pull all of my resources. You know, in those teachers' books, they have those worksheet, reproducible worksheets. So I'll go ahead and make my copies the night before, just, you know, so I'll have everything ready and laid out. But everybody just sits there and listens in on everyone's lesson and what they're learning, and it works. It really, really works. So I know a lot of people are asking, how are you homeschooling multiple kids in different subjects and, you know, different grade levels? Well, I just sit everybody down. Okay, let's say Jerry, he's going to be working on place value. Kelsey's working on skip counting by 10. Elijah's working on skip counting by 3s. We each have that lesson. And we just sit there and everybody, I mean, so far they've been kind of chill and content. Like, I don't mind if they bring like dominoes to the, that's usually what I do. I let them have the manipulatives out. And they'll just kind of play around with the manipulatives. But for the most part, nobody's really distracting. They are very respectable of each other's lessons. So math is going pretty well. Everybody's doing their typing. Elijah's really progressing. You know, we're using Type-C, so it's a step-by-step program. He's at a point now where he's unlocked some games. He's able to play games now, and because the other 2, I didn't realize they want you to be 7 for the program, but I'd already bought it, and I wasn't going to ask him for a refund, but for the other 2, but it comes with 5 licenses. And so for Elijah, and I'm guessing, I trust these people's judgment. If they say this is for 7-year-olds, it's obviously for some type of fine motor skills they feel a 7-year-old would have. So Elijah, I do ask him to have his keys correctly. But for Jerry and Kelsey, since they're not of age yet, I just want them to familiarize themselves with the keyboard so, you know, they can learn where all the keys are. So that's what we're doing with them. We have our art lessons usually on our A days because that's our light day where we have Bible, art, typing for everyone, reading for Elijah, and wordly wise for Jerry and Kelsey. We are actually headed on break this Monday, but we decided just to cut. We're going to have these 2 days off. We had Monday off, and then we're going to have Friday off. because everybody's starting. I didn't want to start a new Wordly Wise or a new lesson for Elijah with his reading and then go on break. So we're just going to start fresh. Tomorrow we're going to hang out with some friends. You know, it's Halloween weekend, so we've got a few things planned with some friends over the weekend. And we're just going to, you know, start off fresh after the break into these new units and lessons that we're doing. So yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with our breaks and everything. So, you know, because we are around school, we are year-round homeschool, we take our breaks throughout the year. Every 4th week we take a week off, and my kids have a 4-day school week. So whatever day they decide they want off, we just take that off. I don't have a set day that they, you know, take off. So just like Monday, they wanted Monday off, so we took Monday off. You know, but it's usually just 1 day per week that they take off. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up Friday because, you know, as I said, I don't want to start a new unit and, you know, and then go on break. So we're going to start off fresh. One thing that I did want to get better at is for our science, we're using Master Book, and there's a couple materials that I have not gotten that we need for our experiments. And I went ahead and just today went and got that stuff that I needed, because we didn't do science last week because I didn't have a couple of the materials or items that we need. But that's okay because we're getting it, and we'll be back on track with our science. But everything has been going good. You know, we're learning how to crush our goals, to wake up, you know, with a purpose in mind. You know, I've called one of my kids, "Oh, I don't want school today. It's going to be terrible." And I just remind them, you know what? Like, one important thing we learned in our Bible class, and that was, what did God have to do to create the world? Speak it. That's it. And I have to remind my children that what you speak is powerful. If you say, "I'm going to have a bad day," your day is going to be bad. But if you just change your attitude, you know what? Let me just get this done. You know, it's going to be an easy day. We're going to learn a lot of good stuff. You know, it goes so much more smoother. So yes, I have had to deal with bad attitudes, or not so nice attitudes, should I say. I don't want to say bad because they're children, you know. But I have had to deal with it all. There's some days where it's just best that we just stop and move on. Because the thing is, I want to keep my kids the way they are now, happy, motivated. Even when things get tough for them, they end up straightening themselves out. I want to keep it that way. So a lot of times, everything is reflected back on me and my attitude as a mom. My level of compassion, my level of empathy, and patience. If you don't have all that, then homeschool's going to be really, really tough. And I know sometimes kids do stuff like when it's time to read, they don't know the word I, you know, or they can't count all of a sudden after they've counted from 100 to 0 and 0 to 100 back and forth 100 times. I know they have their moments. But I promise you, if you just keep your cool, or you get down to the root of it, the more times you're chill and laid back, the more time that you will see a shift in your kid's attitude. It's like, I promise you that. You remember on another video I had, well, if you're new to my channel, you probably don't remember, but Elijah, the 7-year-old, he told me that he was sick. He had a stomach ache. Now, typically, he's never lied about being sick. If he says his stomach hurt, I guarantee you 10 minutes later, he's going to be puking somewhere. So, but just his whole disposition, it was something about it as a mom. It's like, this looks suspicious. But I didn't say anything, and I didn't say anything for a reason, because I never ever want my kids to be afraid to approach me if they're sick. I never want to feel that my kid is hiding because they don't want a negative reaction from me. So I just wanted to kind of monitor things. So I told them, this is like first thing in the morning, before it was like right after breakfast. So I didn't want to just rip them a new and say, "Boy, ain't nothing wrong with you." I did not want to do that. That's how our parents did. And so it's like, we need to kind of level up, So I just said, okay, your stomach hurt. All right, well, just lay down for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I was annoyed because I do a lot to prepare for school, and to figure that we possibly wouldn't have school that day, or the routine was going to be thrown off. It was a bit annoying to me, but I just pushed my feelings and ego to the side and was like, let me just get to the root of this. So I was like, okay, well, just lay down for a little bit. And he laid down for about 10 minutes. I let Jerry and Kelsey go do whatever they wanted to do, play around for a little while. And so I checked back with him and asked him, was he okay? He said no. So I rubbed some peppermint oils on his tummy. That didn't work. I gave him a peppermint. That didn't work. I gave him some lemon, a couple drops of lemon juice on his tongue. That didn't work. So I said, okay, just lay down for a few more minutes. It's getting later and later. Now it's like after 10. And so he said he still wasn't feeling better. So I said, well, okay, we'll just lay down and the show must go on. So I had Jerry and Kelsey go ahead and get their routine ready. And, they got dressed, brushed their teeth, washed their face, got clothes on, and they came to the carpet. And we started teaching. He sprang up like a jack-in-the-box and said, wait for me, please wait for me. I said, okay, we'll wait for you. So he brushed his teeth and got dressed, and he came and joined us. So I wonder, if I would approach this in a negative manner, how would this have worked out? Kids try stuff all the time. And, Jerry, the 5-year-old, he'll cry and, go on and on because he claims he can't do his homework, well, his math. And it's simple math, addition using a number line. And I know he can do it. But at the same time, I know there are times where he just wants me to sit there and help him. And sometimes there's no problem doing it, so I just do it. Other times when I need to go help someone else, like if Kelsey really is struggling with something and she needs my help, he's usually understanding about that. So he'll go ahead and do it. But my kids know I have implemented study hall. And study hall is that time of day where school's over, the homeschool area is cleaned up, everybody's things are put away, lunch has been eaten, then it's time for your tablet time. Study hall is that tablet time part of the day. So you only get study hall if you were goofing around. Also, I needed a strategy for my 7-year-old and his spelling words. He's a mind wanderer. And to help him focus, one thing that I have done over the summer, and I haven't even really had to use it since because he's like, it kind of whipped his brain into shape. And that's using those hidden puzzle books or hidden picture books. He kind of, fought against me, didn't want to do it because he was so frustrated, because if he doesn't see it right then and there, he's checked out and doesn't want to do it. But I was like, just chill. Just find those pictures. There's no time limit, do it. And then it became fun for him. But it slowed his brain down because it moves so fast. The only thing he worries about is from the time he starts to the end result. That's all he cares about. And I know this because I can be the same way sometimes. I don't care about the process. Just give me the end result. So I use those hidden puzzle pictures to kind of slow his brain down. And it's been working. His math is so much better. He's not making little mistakes anymore like he had been before. But I tried that over the summer for a couple weeks. After that, he was good and done. So the problem we're having now is spelling. We've been on a spelling unit for a while. I don't really want to get into how long it's been, but it's been a while. And every time I test him, it's like not even trying. Not even, you can tell. You put 3 letters on the paper and it's like, I don't know. And when he does the corrections are wrong. So I started thinking, when you're writing your corrections, your mind isn't on it. We got to do something about that. So now the rule is If I give you a spelling test, if you fail it 3 times, you got to retake it. On the 4th try, if you don't, the corrections will be made during study hall. I'm not going to penalize you if you don't get study hall. You don't do your corrections in study hall the first few times. I just want to make sure that you are actually paying attention to the words that you're writing, because these words are not that difficult. You know how to spell in a word. You know we're doubling these consonants. And the thing is, you don't have to be nasty about it. Just be nice and let them know what the deal is. This is where we're at. I'll give you time to fix it, but for now, let's just figure this out. And usually it works. It works. So, at first there were a couple of tears when I mentioned study hall, because I don't use study hall as a punishment, because I feel like you could have did better, or I'm using it as a tool to get you to reach your maximum potential. And you know your child, and you know what their potential is. I'm not going to give you study hall because you didn't finish your math homework, because it was just difficult and you made mistakes. You don't get study hall for that. When you don't finish your math and you were diligently working on it, we'll just put it in your binder and save it for next time. You don't get study hall for that. But if I have to constantly keep telling you over and over and over, do your math, do your math, do your math. So far, the threat of study hall has actually worked. But it's not just a threat. And I think my kids know that too, because they don't play. I'm like, okay, listen, you don't want to do it, then you can do it through study hall. So, but anyway, I am hoping to bring a few more videos over while we're on break. I really want to try to do some more homeschool with me videos to really show, our routine and what's it like, because my kids are so good. And sometimes I'm like, it can't be this easy, but maybe I just have a calling for it, or anointing, you could say. I don't know, but we are really, really enjoying it. We have good days. The majority of it's always good days. Even times that are challenging, it always ends on a good note. I get pushback, don't get me wrong, I do, but for the most part, it is nothing but love all day long, and I couldn't ask any more for my kids. So anyway, if you have any questions, you want to know something about our curriculum, about our routine, just leave it in the comments below. And if you're new to my channel, just subscribe, and I will see you guys hopefully next week while we're on break. Bye.